Breaking news from around your world on this Friday, May 3rd, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. A cyclone barreled into eastern India Friday, damaging houses in the tourist town of Puri and wounding 160 people after more than 1 million people were moved into storm shelters. Trees were uprooted and power and telecom lines snapped as Tropical Cyclone Fani, the strongest storm to hit India in 5 years, swept ashore in the eastern state of Odisha. The storm, the strongest tropical cyclone to hit India in 20 years, battered areas near the city of Puri in Odisha state with torrential rains and winds gusting to 127 miles per hour. 2 people were killed by falling trees in Odisha. Bangladesh, which lies further up the path of Tropical Cyclone Fani, ordered the evacuation of 2.1 million people before the storm arrives on Saturday. The storm is expected to affect weather across the Asian subcontinent, with everything from dust storms in the desert state of Rajasthan, bordering Pakistan, to snowfall in the Himalayas, where hundreds of climbers and Sherpa guides descended to lower elevations as weather worsened on Mount Everest. The Pentagon said deepening Chinese activities in the Arctic region could pave the way for a strengthened military presence, including the deployment of submarines to act as deterrents against nuclear attack. The assessment is included in the U.S. military's annual report to Congress on China's armed forces and follows Beijing's publication of its first official Arctic policy white paper in June. In that paper, China outlined plans to develop shipping lanes opened up by global warming to form a polar Silk Road, building on President Xi Jinping's signature Belt and Road Initiative. China, despite being a non-Arctic state, is increasingly active in the polar region and became an observer member of the Arctic Council in 2013. That's prompted concerns from Arctic states over Beijing's long-term strategic objectives, including possible military deployments. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will attend a meeting of the 8-nation Arctic Council in Finland starting on Monday, which comes amid concerns over China's increased commercial interests in the Arctic. The Pentagon report noted that China's military has made modernizing its submarine fleet a high priority. China's Navy operates 4 nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, 6 nuclear-powered attack submarines, and 50 conventionally powered attack submarines. A Vietnamese woman originally accused of assassinating Kim Jong-nam, the half-brother of North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, in 2017, has been released from jail in Malaysia. On April 1st, Duan Thi Huang pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of voluntarily causing hurt by dangerous weapons or means in a deal with prosecutors in Kuala Lumpur. She was sentenced to 3 years and 4 months, but that was cut due to sentence remissions, including time served since February 2017. Huang and Indonesian national Siti Aisyah were accused of smearing VX nerve agent on the face of Kim as he entered an airport February 13, 2017. He died within minutes. In closed-circuit TV footage, one woman was seen with her hands over his face. Both of the women thought they were part of a prank. Asia was freed in March and returned to Indonesia, where prosecution decided to drop charges. 4 men, believed to be North Koreans, fled Malaysia on the day of the murder. They've been charged in the case but not apprehended. North Korea has denied any involvement in the killing. Insys Therapeutics founder John Kapoor was convicted Thursday of racketeering conspiracy involving bribes and kickbacks to physicians who prescribed large amounts of highly addictive fentanyl to patients. In federal court, a jury deliberated for 15 days before finding the Arizona-based company's former chairman guilty, a conviction that carries a maximum 20 years in prison. It was the first time a drug company leader was convicted in federal court. 4 other top execs were found guilty in U.S. District Court in Massachusetts. Richard M. Simon, the company's former national director of sales, Sunrise Lee and Joseph Rowan, who were one-time regional sales directors, and Michael J. Gurry, the former vice president of managed markets. Kapoor, who is 76, was arrested October 26, 2017, the same day that President Donald Trump declared the opioid epidemic a public emergency. Between 2012 and 2015, federal prosecutors alleged that doctors prescribed patients large numbers of Subsys, a fentanyl-based pain medication, in exchange for kickbacks and bribes from the Insys executives. Fentanyl is considered 50 times stronger than heroin and up to 100 times more potent than morphine. The drug was intended for cancer patients experiencing breakthrough pain, but some patients prescribed didn't have the disease. Kapoor declined to comment. After years of pressure to crack down on hate and bigotry, Facebook has banned Louis Farrakhan, Alex Jones, and other extremists, saying they violated its ban on dangerous individuals. The company also removed right-wing personalities Paul Nellon, Milo Yiannopoulos, Paul Joseph Watson, and Laura Loomer, along with Jones' site InfoWars, which often posts conspiracy theories. The latest bans apply to both Facebook's main service and to Instagram and extend to fan pages and other related accounts. Decried as censorship by several of those who got the axe, the move signals a renewed effort by the social media giant to remove people and groups promoting objectionable material such as hate, racism, and anti-Semitism. Removing some of the best-known figures of the U.S. political extreme takes away an important virtual megaphone that Facebook has provided the likes of Jones, Yiannopoulos, and others over the years. But it does not address what might be done with lesser-known figures and those who stay on the margins of what Facebook's policies allow. Critics praised the move but said there's more to be done on both Facebook and Instagram. The Senate failed Thursday to override President Trump's veto of legislation calling for an end to U.S. support of the war in Yemen. The Senate voted 53 to 45, short of the 67 votes needed to overturn Trump's veto. The bill would have ceased U.S. logistical and intelligence support of the Saudi-led coalition operating in Yemen. The resolution directs the president to remove U.S. armed forces from hostilities in or affecting Yemen within 30 days unless Congress authorizes a later withdrawal date, issues a declaration of war, or specifically authorizes the use of armed forces. The resolution also called for an end to in-flight refueling of non-U.S. aircraft conducting missions as part of the conflict in Yemen. The resolution did not affect military operations directed at al-Qaeda. The bill gained bipartisan support after journalist Jamal Khashoggi was killed last fall. U.S. intelligence concluded that the assassination at an Istanbul embassy was ordered by Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, galvanizing support for the bill, which passed the Senate March 13th. Trump, who's been a vocal supporter of Saudi Arabia, blocked the bill with the second veto of his presidency April 16th. President Trump's trade deal with Canada and Mexico have hit roadblocks in Congress, with a key Republican calling for an end to tariffs on the countries, while Democrats demanded stronger worker protection language. In November, Trump called the new trade deal with Canada and Mexico to replace the 1994 North American Free Trade Agreement historic. Trump argued during his campaign that both countries took advantage of the United States in the old trade agreement, NAFTA. Legislators in Canada and Mexico have been slow to approve the deal as well because of the tariffs. The Trump administration slapped a 25% tariff on steel and a 10% tariff on aluminum imports from Canada, Mexico, and other trading partners. But many of those countries responded with retaliatory tariffs on an assortment of American exports, including washing machines, motorboats, pork, coffee, and whiskey. Democrats said last month that the White House has not satisfied their concerns about enforcement and the need for stronger labor standards. Democratic labor concerns have been echoed by U.S. and Canadian labor unions. Mexican officials said that its government was fully on board with resolving any lingering labor issues. President Trump on Thursday formally nominated Kelly Craft to become the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Craft, the current U.S. ambassador to Canada, would replace Nikki Haley, who resigned last year. The White House sent the nomination Thursday to the Senate 3 months after the president announced his intention to nominate Craft. The Senate Foreign Relations Committee will first consider the nomination, and then it goes before the full Senate with a majority vote necessary for confirmation. The 57-year-old Kraft became ambassador to Canada in October 2017 after being confirmed by a 96-4 vote in the Senate. Before becoming an ambassador, she served on the board of trustees of her alma mater, the University of Kentucky, for a term that began August 2016. President George W. Bush appointed her an alternate delegate to the UN in 2007. Peter Mayhew, the towering actor who donned a huge furry costume to give life to the rugged and beloved character of Chewbacca in the original Star Wars trilogy and 2 other films, has died. His family said Mayhew died at his home in North Texas on Tuesday. He was 74. No cause of death was given. As Chewbacca, known to his friends as Chewie, the 7'3" Mayhew was a fierce warrior with a soft heart, loyal sidekick to Harrison Ford's Han Solo character, and co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon. In a statement Thursday, Harrison Ford said, "Peter Mayhew was a kind and gentle man, possessed of great dignity and noble character. We were partners in film and friends for life for over 30 years, and I loved him." Born and raised in England, Mayhew had appeared in just 1 film and was working as a hospital orderly in London when George Lucas, who shot the first film in England, found him and cast him in 1977's Star Wars. Lucas chose quickly when he saw Mayhew, who liked to say that all he had to do to land the role was stand up. Lucas said in a statement Thursday, "He was the closest any human being could have been to a Wookiee. Big heart, gentle nature, and I learned to always let him win. He was a good friend, and I am saddened by his passing." And that's your update for this Friday, May 3rd, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. Thanks so much for listening and for your generous donations supporting this podcast. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.